Hello, Hokies. We are here in Orlando at the Camping World Stadium, site of the ACC Championship, and we have a very special guest for you here on Hokiesports.com, the man who will call the game for ABC tomorrow night, Chris Fowler. Chris, absolute pleasure. Thanks for taking time for us.
It's fun. Thanks. Now it's cool to see these two teams collide in a championship game. We don't see it every year, so it's fun for a national audience, I think.
I know from week to week you certainly get a view and commentate on what the national perspective on things is, and we're a little bit in our own region in terms of what people feel about the job Justin Fuente has done. What is the national perspective on what he's done in year number one?
Well, deserving of National Coach of the Year honors. I mean, I think he's a candidate for that. I think that people coming in felt like Justin was a very good fit. Everybody you talked to in the ACC and who knew him from other stops along the way, Gary Patterson at TCU, I'm close to, had some very good things to say. So expectations, I think, were that he was going to come in here and make an imprint right away and then connect with the fans and the players quickly. But having said that, winning a division title, playing for a conference championship probably was a bit much to ask, at least as we thought outside the program. But it turns out they were ready to buy in, and he put his imprint on the offense, and keeping Bud Foster and continuity on the defensive side has been huge too. So here they are.
I know you and ESPN had a special relationship and continue to with Frank Beamer, of course, and he continues to be such a big part of the Tech program. How have you viewed the transition, how Justin has handled it after taking over for Frank?
Spectacularly. I was talking to Justin earlier about that. Not many coaches in the history of college football have taken over for a legend of Frank's magnitude. What he told me was that Frank's humility is what made the transition smooth. When you take over for a legend, some guys have these cults of personality. They have huge egos. It's justified, but that's just the way they are. Makes taking over for them very, very difficult. And you can think of the coaches I mean. Frank, though, has a different humility to him, a different groundedness and a willingness to help, and I think be there as a resource. Stay away if he feels that's right. Come back in, as he was asked to do for the Virginia game, and talk to the team. It's very cool how gracious he's been. Justin's been smart to engage Frank, and I think that he knows it's a special task. It's something that not everybody would want to do, to try to follow a legend in a place that's been so family-oriented and so close-knit. And that's what makes what Justin's done this year all the more impressive, too, because not many guys could come in and be that seamless and that smart and have success this quickly.
We know that Virginia Tech's fan base will travel well to Orlando. Same can absolutely be said of Clemson. How many fans, though, in your estimation, have the Hokies picked up? They're just fans of either a program on the outside hoping to get in, or just like the chaos theory?
That's what happens when you take on a playoff contender. You take on a whole bunch of new fans. So there are a lot of Hokie fans in the Big Ten region. There are a lot of Hokie fans in Seattle who just maybe want to be comfortable that Washington's in the playoff, and knocking off Clemson would certainly mean that. Oklahoma State. I mean, there's a whole bunch of fan bases around the country hoping for chaos, but it's a tough chore. I mean, those fans won't help the Hokies beat Clemson. Only great play, cutting down on mistakes, and capitalizing on a few takeaways. That's what they'll have to do to win this game, because I've seen Clemson a bunch this year. I promise you, they are as talented at certain spots as anybody in the country. They're playing better than they did last year, really in all three phases. And I think they're a more rested, fresher football team than the one that took on Carolina in the championship game a year ago. Healthier, everything to play for. It's going to be. It's not going to be easy to beat Clemson, but I know that a lot of fans will be excited. If it's close in the fourth quarter, we'll have a lot of people looking in and looking at an upset that could change the playoff complexion.
Chris, thank you so much for your time. It's an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure. Always good to talk to the Hokie Nation.
Chris Fowler doing just that.